Welcome back to the Golden Lamb. This week we're going to be making Vietnamese Pandan Honeycomb Cake. Not only is it green, but it is sweet, fluffy perfection. Now we're going to start by taking 6 eggs and breaking them open over a bowl. And when you're done breaking the eggs open, you're going to softly break the yolks with your fork. And everything in this recipe you want to be very gentle with. You want to gently whisk everything. You can see I'm just kind of pulling the eggs apart with my fork. And then I'm just going to slowly beat that with my fork for probably a minute and 30 seconds. Again, you don't want to use any power tools, aka hand mixers, with this. Next ingredient is actually coconut oil. Now, I make a mistake here. This is my first time making this cake. I was really confident, but I ended up making a major error. So, obviously, if you look at this, coconut oil is a solid at room temperature. So I'm going to go ahead with the recipe here, and then I'm going to show you how to actually correct this. So kind of disregard this step for now. You can move on to the other steps. Okay, we're going to be adding 1/3 cup of water, followed by 1 cup of coconut milk. 1 can isn't exactly 1 cup, it's a little bit more, so I'm just scooping the coconut milk directly into my 1 cup. And then you're going to go ahead and add that. At this point, you're going to be adding the secret ingredient. This is pandan paste. This is what gives the cake its vibrant green color. Now, pandan paste tastes a lot like vanilla, but it has a little bit of a grassy taste to it, not like a cut lawn. It's really unique. It's at this point that I discover that the coconut oil is still solid at room temperature. So I'm actually digging it out. This was fun, but you don't need to do this. So what I did is I just microwaved this for about 20 seconds. I don't want to go much longer than that because the last thing you want to do is pour hot oil into raw eggs. What that would do is it would curdle the ingredient. So I'm just giving this a good stir, and the majority of the coconut fat has melted. So next up here, we're going to be mixing together all the dried ingredients. So I'm going to grab a larger mixing bowl, and I'm going to start with the tapioca starch. We're using 1 full cup of this, and tapioca starch gives the cake an incredible, delightful chewiness that's really hard to describe because it's not very common mouthfeel in American cuisine, but trust me, it's amazing. Up next is rice flour. We're going to be adding 1 tablespoon of rice flour. And my tablespoon was dirty, so I'm using, I think, a teaspoon. I think it's 3 teaspoons is 1 tablespoon. And finally, some baking powder. So 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder is what you're going to need to help this rise. You want to make sure you use just regular, good old-fashioned baking powder. Lastly, sugar. Now, you can just use regular... get in there. You can just use regular granulated sugar for this. And I think that I put in 1/2 cup. I'm grabbing my fancy whisk. I bought it in the estate sale, and I'm whisking the dry ingredients together. And now I am folding in my wet ingredients. And I'm making sure to use my daughter's little play spatula to clean that out. And now I'm just slowly folding this together, being very gentle. I'm not trying to be too aggressive with this. I just want to make sure all the ingredients are well incorporated. This honeycomb cake is traditionally cooked inside of a bundt cake form. You can buy these on Amazon. They're fairly inexpensive. And now you're going to grab your cooking spray and you're just going to spray the inside of the cake form so that your cake easily drops out. And then you're going to go ahead and pour your honeycomb cake batter directly into the bundt cake pan. We're going to bake this at 350 degrees for about 55 minutes. When this is done baking, you're going to turn the oven off and you're going to leave the oven door slightly ajar with the cake still inside. What you're doing is you're letting the cake slowly cool, and you want to let this cool for about 20 minutes. Alright, now that the cake is fully cooked, I'm going to do the old flip-a-rooney trick where you put the cooling rack on top of the cake and then flip it over. Ta-da! I did it successfully. And pull the form off, and boom. Look at that. Boop, boop. So now it's time to slice this bad boy. We'll take a nice sharp knife and just give it a little gentle slice. And now you're going to see why it's called a honeycomb cake. Do you see that pattern there? That's kind of reminiscent of a honeycomb. Or something like that. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, traditionally you garnish this with shredded coconut, but I've actually found that I really like powdered sugar as a garnish, and you can see it here in these final photos from my blog. Powdered sugar on top with some coffee. It's an incredibly tasty and incredibly wonderful cake. Really easy to make. You can get all the ingredients at your local world market. And I truly hope you enjoy this, and let me know if you made it. If you enjoyed this recipe, I've got another one here on the left and another one here on the right. Have a wonderful evening, and click that subscribe button if you feel up to it.